Hi everyone, and welcome to week 5. We are over halfway through with our course at this point. So what are we doing this week? Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed your weekend and you got to spend some time with family if you celebrate Easter and are ready to get moving with our new week. So let's start with our week 5 readings. So this week, if you have the 4th edition, you're reading chapter 4. If you have the 6th edition, you're reading chapter 7. All right, then we have web-based tools for teachers. So for this activity, you are going to be taking a look at this website called forteachers.org. It's sponsored by the University of Kansas. It's got a lot of useful resources for teachers and a lot of free tools. And these are along the right side of the page. So give the page a second to load. QuizStar is the only one that requires a subscription, but all the other tools, they just want your name and email address if you want to set up an account. So I want you to take some time to explore the different tools and other features of forteachers.org. Take a look at Rubistar, Trackstar, Casa Notes, Web Poster Wizard. Those are some cool things. And then also read through this article to see what other useful web-based tools exist for teachers. Then on the discussion, on the discussion board, you're going to post a comment to our week 5 discussion question. All right, you're going to discuss a forteachers.org tool or some other web-based tool, maybe something in the other article that you found most useful or interesting. What are some classroom uses you might put to this tool? So create your post on your own, have that up by Wednesday, and have your replies in by Friday. All right, let's keep moving. So then we are creating a podcast. All right, so here are our podcast activity instructions. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so I'm going to click on our preview and we can take a look at these. Okay, this assignment is going to require that you have a microphone. Right now I'm using my earbuds from my iPod, my iPhone. So that absolutely will work. Nothing fancy, okay? All right, so, and if your computer has a really good external mic, you could use that, but most of them don't, so. All right, so in this assignment, you're going to create a very basic podcast that will be linked to your website because that's going to be your final project for this class. So a voice podcast is all that is required, but if you wish to add music or other effects and you know how to do it, please go ahead and wow me. So your first step is to plan and script the content. You don't want to just sit down and not know what you're going to say. You want to have a script. Otherwise, it can be very complicated. So for this assignment, you can create a podcast on any topic for any grade level you wish. So think about what you might be teaching. For example, I teach American literature. We did an American folklore podcast. All right, my kids retold some American folklore. So you could do something like that. So think about what would be relevant to what you're teaching. You might want to teach give a description of some place in history, read and describe a poem, describe how to carry out a mathematical function or any other topic that you think would be useful. And also, you might want to have some kind of direction at the end or at the beginning. What are students doing? What are they listening for? So at the beginning, listen to this podcast and you're listening for good description. You're listening for how to add numbers, however you want to say it. Just make sure they know what it is they're expected to be listening for before you start the podcast. So it's important to really plan carefully and use some sort of script to ensure that it is of good quality. So here are a few issues that you want to be aware of. Now, don't make it too long. We're going to use Google Sites to host our web pages, but that's one of the places. I'll give you a couple of other options as well. 10 minutes is about 9 megabytes, all right? So, I wouldn't think about your audience too, okay, guys? How long can you hold their attention? 10 minutes is a longer time than you think. I'm not expecting it to be that long at all, okay? So it needs to be 20 megabytes or less, but you can also use, if you're like, I don't know how to tell, you won't really have to worry about it if you want to use this option. SpeakPipe is a free voice recorder, and it's online. So if you click on that link, it'll take you here. Click Start Recording. All right, it records it, it gives you an HTML, and you can just turn that in and link that to your web page instead of actually creating an MP3, but that's up to you. Okay, so if you decide you do want to create an MP3, you can use GarageBand, iMovie, Android. You can use your phone recorder and then email that file to yourself, and that would be an MP3. But there's a lot of options out there. You can also use Audacity. There are some tutorials about that, and I'll show you in a minute if you want to use that. It can be a kind of a process, and quite honestly, you're going to get the same result from some of these easier ways, so that's up to you. So once you've carefully planned your podcast, you're going to want to record it. And then if you decide to use Audacity or not, you can. But then you want to make sure that you turn it in. All right, because when we start doing our website, we want to make sure that it is ready to go. All right, so those are the instructions. Here are some resources that you're definitely going to want to look through before you create your own podcast. All right, here are 2 links that will help you with creating your podcast. Here are some examples of student and teacher podcasts on TeacherTube. Here's again that link to SpeakerPipe. Now, if you decide you want to use Audacity, here is that. Like I said, I think SpeakerPipe's easier. You're going to get the same result, but it is up to you. If you are, an audio tech or some other way to do it, please feel free. That is not my area of expertise. Okay, here's our assignment Dropbox. This is worth 30 points. Just click here. Obviously, to do that, just make sure you either attach the copy of the MP3 or submit your URL, and it is worth 30 points. And then the last thing for week 5 is our blog post. And this is asking you, and that just takes you to the assignment, and then that links you to the class blog, and it's just asking you about web-based applications. So that's it for week 5. Hopefully everyone got through week 4 okay. You got your lesson plan turned into 2 places, into Canvas and into LiveText. So make sure you have your LiveText account because your second lesson plan will go in both places as well. Have a great week. If you have any questions or need help, please feel free to contact me.